What is up, YouTube people? Eric here with Team Badman, and it is Friday, so you guys know what that means. It means we've got another round of spoilers, and this week's is possibly one of the most anticipated that we have ever had. As we know, today is the reveal of the new Gohan stack, which is something players have been clamoring for a very, very long time. Gohan's original stack, while it did have its merits, wasn't great. It wasn't a good stack by any means. It had some benefits, like being able to instantly win once you got to level 4 with the Namekian Knowledge Mastery, and had some applications in other styles like Saiyan and Red, but it wasn't very strong. It was mainly played more as a joke, and it took 6 sets later, a new level 1 to actually bring Gohan into the limelight. And granted, that new level 1 helped him out a ton, an absolute ton. We've seen Gohan consistently top events and even win this past weekend in the New Hampshire regional, which was just an absolutely huge deal. But it still wasn't the stack that we were really hoping for. And there was a dream that maybe when Evolution came out, he might be a new stack. That he might be a new stack in Perfection or at some point. But it's taken us all the way until now with Awakening to get a brand new stack, and I think the wait was pretty worthwhile. So today we're going to cover the brand new Gohan stack, along with Masteries packs with the Saiyan Dynamic Mastery, which is a definite throwback to an older mastery from the score game, as well as Gohan's new named card, Gohan's Backlash. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As I always do, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Mastery. So we have got the Saiyan Dynamic Mastery, which has an immediate parenthetical ability that says, you may begin the game on level 2. What? If you guys have played the score game before, particularly GT, there's a mastery back in GT called the Saiyan Supreme Mastery, which did the exact same thing, let you start the game on level 2, and that's an immensely powerful ability. There are a lot of stacks that are really going to enjoy this. The Villain Vegeta stack will gain massive benefit out of it. Goku will gain benefit. Of course, this Gohan stack will gain benefit out of it, whether you're using the new stack or even the old stack can get some benefits. Brawly will love it. Raditz will love it. Just about the entire Saiyan available card pool is going to absolutely love the ability to start on level 2. But of course, this has to get offset somewhere, and that's by the Continuous, which says you need 6 anger to advance a personality level, which makes perfect sense. It might be a little bit of a time to see the Saiyan Analysis Drill come back, which is going to lower that requirement by 1. It's going to become a normal 5. But you see a lot of manipulation of anger with the Saiyan Masteries. Of course, you got free anger with Empowered Mastery, which has now been frozen. You saw 1 less anger with the Rampaging Mastery, and now you see 1 more with Saiyan Dynamic Mastery. So, of course, it's still anger-oriented, but you need something to offset that immediate jump to level 2. But all of your styled attacks without anger in the print box all gain Raise Your Anger 1 level. So while it may not have quite the strength of the Saiyan Empowered Mastery, you're still guaranteed to be gaining consistent anger. And the fact that you can still MPPV even starting on level 2 is just insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's so many decks that are going to enjoy this, and I think Saiyan MPPV could actually become a relatively reasonable thing to see. We can see Trunks decks doing it because they've got a lot of anger on some of their name cards. You can see Vegeta decks doing it very easily. Brawly decks. This mastery is going to help catapult Saiyan up to a new level, especially in the wake of Empowered being banished. So this is an absolutely phenomenal replacement for it. I'm not going to say it's the best mastery we've seen yet, because I think Resolute and Retribution are still slightly more beneficial in some of their own ways. But Dynamic Mastery is really powerful, and it's just the kind of tool that Saiyan really needed in order to get itself back into the game. So of course, to go along with the Saiyan Dynamic Mastery is everyone's favorite boy wonder, Gohan. Now, in the same way as Goku, all of his levels depict him as being a Super Saiyan in one way or another. So level 1, level 2 show him as a regular Super Saiyan. Level 3 and 4 show him as a Super Saiyan 2, which is I think what we've been waiting for, and a lot of the effects contribute directly to it, which is absolutely fantastic. But he's got some really interesting effects, and in some ways I can see him being a hero counterpart to Android 17, which is very ironic considering the original Gohan stack got a ton of ally tech to work with and a lot of ability to pull those back. So Gohan 1 has a continuous effect that says all of your attacks are considered styled, which of course makes perfect sense with the Saiyan Dynamic Mastery. So you're going to be getting anger off basically everything you throw. Plus, his power says whenever an ally you control is banished, raise your anger 1 level, which that actually kind of makes sense. You know, it is an interesting way to tech in some allies into your deck while still finding a way to get rid of them. So there could actually be application here in Tag Team, just being able to recycle allies and gain a bunch of anger off of it to level really quickly, especially in combination with his power and with this mastery. So it's a level that you can see him getting off of relatively quickly. He's got a very solid level 1 physical attack. You may banish an ally with the powers for AT plus 2 life cards, which is astoundingly strong. He hits the E bracket at his maximum power level on level 1, capping out 700,000. So you can do some really serious damage with this, even just starting out the game. It's great ally tech to have, especially considering that there's so many popular ally decks out there. Cooler, 13, even Brawly utilizes them, Gohan, Yamcha. There's a lot of utility out of this one, and the fact that it says may means that you can also run some of his ally tech cards if you run him, say, with Saiyan Overhead Kick or Overpowering Attack, or maybe a Namekian with cards like Namekian Confident Burst. There's still utility for it, and it's utility that you don't necessarily have to use. It's a really, really refreshing replacement for either of his level 1s, seeing the paradigm shift quite a bit. And it's got a lot of utility to it, especially in the current metagame. So you can see Gohan being a relatively popular pick when Awakening comes out. Next on the docket is where you actually may want to start at if you decide to draw a Gohan, or not decide, rather, if you end up pulling Gohan in draft. And that's going to be Gohan's level 2. Gohan level 2 has a continuous effect that says, of course, your attacks are still considered styled, so you're going to be getting a lot of anger. It's a little bit of the premise and the benefit here, is being able to get those style attack benefits off of just about all of his levels. So you can see that being used in Perceptive Mastery, or Adept Mastery, Retribution Mastery, of course the Saiyan Masteries. He's got a lot of utility with just that one continuous power, but of course he's got more to add along with all of them. And his level 2 says, whenever your MP would advance a level, you may lower your MP 1 level instead. So you can go ahead and just, kind of sit around at level 1, level 2 bracket in there, and get a lot of that ally hate benefit out of it. Which could be really interesting, depending on the kind of tech that you need at any given time. It's a really interesting dynamic they decided to add to this, which applies even more when we take a look at Gohan's Backlash later on in the video. But he's got a power that is almost completely identical to Cell's level 2, which is a very interesting contrast here considering the Gohan Cell fought in Cell games. But his power says you can discard a card from your hand, search your life deck for a styled attack or block card, and place it into your hand. Now the interesting thing about this is it's not a when entering combat or an immediate effect, so you can use it at any time. If you need some hand filtering in there, you can utilize this effect to do it. The only downside here is that it's limited to styled cards, but of course that's got to be a caveat for being able to search out your deck for anything. But there's a lot of application here. If you want to stay aggressive in some of the other, very, very aggro kind of decks, you could do this in Saiyan and get, say, Elbow Drop, or Clothesline, or Sword Strike, whatever you might need. Red can benefit from getting Double Strikes, or Shattering Leaps, or Heel Kicks. Blue can get Blue Terror and then tech out any other card that it needs. There's virtually limitless application with this, as long as you stay within the confines of styled. So you may not necessarily want to go with a Vegeta-esque approach and just start loading up on a bunch of freestyle cards. Though, of course, it's still going to be beneficial to have that, since all of your attacks are considered styled. But it's not so for the teching ability necessarily. Nonetheless, it's very, very usable. It's fantastic hand recycling, especially in the wake of the loss of possibly the most popular hand recycling mastery in the Black Devious Mastery. But there's a ton that this level can do, even for not having an aggressive ability to it. It's a really nice spot to start at, and it's actually really good incentive to end up, hoping to pull or trying to pull Saiyan Dynamic Mastery if you guys are doing draft for any of your release events. It'd be a winner in my book, that's for sure. So finally, Gohan ascends when he hits Gohan level 3. He's got that sweet Super Saiyan 2 hair. He's got some really sweet effects, and of course, all of his attacks are still considered styled. It's the first sentence of the continuous effect, which there's actually only one, says your attacks considered styled and deal +2 stages of damage, which that's not bad. It's an extra buff. If you put it together with some of the other buffs from, say, Ruthless or Resolute Mastery, you can deal a lot of damage here. That would actually be really, really good in Ruthless. All of your attacks are guaranteed to deal +4 stages of damage if you banished for the Mastery. The fact that Gohan hits F at his maximum bracket in this power level is of course very beneficial. He can swing for a ton of damage. He can be very, very aggro. But he also has an attack ability on his level. It's a physical attack that you may banish a setup, drill, or an ally. So he's got free betrayal or free orange stare down tech built right into his level, and you're not required to use it. So if you're in a spot where you only have stuff on your side of the field to banish, you don't have to use it. That's absolutely fantastic. It deals flat 4 stages, automatically modified by Gohan's power, so it's going to be a styled attack for 6 stages. That's pretty strong right out there. Of course, with the lack of popularity of, say, Android 18 or Garlic Jr., you can see this dealing a pretty considerable amount of damage pretty quickly. It's excellent tech to have. It's a really, really solid level overall. It builds all the way up to what may be one of the best level 4s that we have seen so far. Undeniable is the describer that they use for Gohan level 4, and it's a complete and utter fit for him. His continuous power, for of course last time, says your attacks are considered styled, so he is all about that styled power just across all of his levels, big deal. But the next 2 sentences are the deal breakers here. It says your physical attacks can only be stopped by physical combat cards, and your energy attacks can only be stopped by energy combat cards. So he's got built-in immediate tech on the same level as Namekian Handburst or Vegeta's Final Flash or Android 17 level 4. And it completely shuts down a lot of popular blocking mechanisms. The Chi-Chi and Piccolo allies get stopped, Orange's drills get stopped, Time is a Warrior's Tool, Namekian Hybrid Defense, Enhanced Reflexes. Tons of these cards just get completely stopped, hard in their face. So Gohan is going to be getting a lot of attacks through unless your opponent manages to draw just a spectacular defensive hand. Very, very powerful continuous ability. It'd be a shame for 13 level 3 to, kind of shut that off, but of course that's going to be a different time. Nonetheless, he's got an immediate power on him here. It says the next attack you perform in this combat has its power stage cost reduced to 0 and can't have its damage prevented. So he's got, oh my god, this is a powerful ability that we have seen on some other cards before. We see on cards like Orange Hand Cannon, and there's a little bit of that in the Orange Retribution Mastery. But being able to utilize that for just about any attack is fantastic, especially if you've got an attack that is guaranteed to go through for whatever reason. If Assisted Kamehameha didn't already apply to this effect, then you'd be able to use that perfectly fine. But it gives you incentive to run some considerably strong energy attacks here. Crushing Beam would be a great combination with this. That way you're dealing 6 life cards unpreventable and banished, and it can only be stopped by an energy combat card here. Styled and replaces itself. There are a lot of freestyle cards that can, use this extremely beneficially. Optic Blast would be great for this. Even Gohan's Masenko, as disgusting as it is for me to say that, Gohan's Masenko could actually be a relatively decent call once you get to level 3 and level 4. You could deal a considerable amount of damage. It's not going to cost you anything. It's going to be unpreventable. This is kind of the aggro level I think that hero decks have been waiting to see, and it fits in extremely well with a lot of really popular aggro archetypes. Ruthless would absolutely love this level. Adept can gain some benefit out of it, being able to pull out some of those modifier drills very, very easily. And of course, the Saiyan Dynamic Mastery is going to get massive mileage out of this. It's a great way to end out his stack. It's a great combination with the Mastery. And it feels like in a lot of ways that for the disappointment that we had with the old Gohan stack, that they kind of made up for it. it should make sense because Gohan was basically the hero of the Cell games, and this reflects that really, really well. It's a stack that I'm very, very excited to use personally. I'm excited to see, and there's almost limitless application with this in the exact same way that the old Cell stack had out of perfection. Of course, we can't finish out this video and talk about Gohan stack without talking about Gohan's sweet new named card, which of course we've been waiting quite a while for, Gohan's Backlash. Yes, that artwork you're seeing is the original Cosmic Backlash artwork from the old game, and while it's not Cosmic Backlash or not quite as powerful, there's still a lot of utility to be found out of this card, and it harkens back to some older cards from the original Score game once again, which this Gohan stack seems to like to do. So it's a physical attack with the ability similar to Gohan's level 1 that you may banish an ally. So this whole Gohan stack is all about ally hate, which is very, very ironic considering that, as I mentioned before, all of his old stacks are about those allies. So he's just getting rid of them now, cleaning house, and the artwork reflects that perfectly. It's physical for AT life cards, similar to Brawly's Face Crusher, but this one, of course, can be modified, can deal some alright damage. The benefit here is the hit effect, which says you may give up MPPV this turn to advance your MP up to 2 levels. Now those are separate sentences, so if it hits, it automatically shuts off your MPPV until the next turn. You get the chance to advance your MP up to 2 levels, but at the end of combat, you either advance or lower your MP to level 2 automatically. So if you're on a higher level, or if you're really close to MPPVing, this isn't a card that you really want to hit with, but this does harken back to Gohan's immense power from the old game. There was a promo that did exactly this. If Gohan was your MP, you could advance up to 2 levels, and at the end of combat, lower up to 2 levels. But on this one, it lets you go straight to his level 2, which is by no means a bad thing. If you're, consistently getting lowered, or if you just kind of want to sit on that level 2, you get the easy ability to do so. It's got some nice, very Dominance-esque tech there. It makes sure that you don't get completely shut down all the way and lose a ton of momentum if you lower your MP some levels. It's especially easy to do in Saiyan Dynamic Mastery, to where you can just go down, and you can get back up to level 3 and level 4 really, really fast. All in all, it's not too bad. It's a nice addition to Gohan's name card set. I think for his case, Gohan's Power Punch is just a better card overall. I can see Backlash having some utility, especially for the decks that just want to fast aggro and keep a whole lot of pressure on by jumping in between those levels. But I think it's the most underwhelming part of this video, honestly. It's not too bad. If it did a little bit more damage, it might feel a little bit better. If it had some kind of extra effect, I don't know. It feels kind of lacking to me, especially for all of the hype that was surrounding the return of Backlash in a lot of ways. But that's not to dismiss from all the rest of the stack. Gohan's stack is really, really good looking. Application in almost any style. The new Saiyan Dynamic Mastery is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's my favorite mastery I've seen so far. It might be the best mastery that we've seen so far, though. It does face extremely stiff competition, but that's ultimately for you guys to decide. So what do you guys think about it? Let me know down in the comments section. We'll get some discussion going here, because I know for one, I'm personally very, very excited to start utilizing this mastery, utilizing the stack, and I hope you guys are as well. So that's going to do it for our quick looks here at the new Gohan stack and the new Saiyan Dynamic Mastery. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, be sure to leave those thumbs down below and give me some likes. I would appreciate it. If not, click the dislike button down below. Let me know what you guys didn't like, so that way I can change it for future installments. We've still got some more coming, including a couple later on next week. When we see the new Dragon Balls, I'm going to do some coverage for that. And then, of course, next week, I believe we have the Red Mastery in the new Trunk stack, but I will double check on that. But yeah, be sure to give some love to those thumbs down below. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you guys haven't subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can follow this and all of our other series. We've got a whole bunch of great stuff coming up here in the near future. Lots of card stuff, some new deck profiles, some really exciting stuff, so be sure to check out all of that. And lastly, if you haven't found us on social media, be sure to click all those social media links down below. You guys can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Libsyn, which is podcast hosting. We're going to have that up here very, very soon for you guys, so be sure to check out all of those as well. So, like I said, that is going to do it for this quick look at Gohan. I am most definitely excited, and I hope you guys are as well. I am Eric with Team Badman signing out, so thank you guys for watching. And like always, stay bad. We will see you guys next week. Catch you later.